Real life in North Korea. Now we are going to tell you about North Korea, the most unusual state on the planet in terms of guarding its values. It is strictly closed, and not a little information, and what comes in is subject to serious redaction by the governing bodies. To understand why the northern part of the country has such a regime, you should turn to its history. Well, and you do not forget to subscribe to our channel, put likes, write comments, and also click on the bell not to miss our new videos. Where do you think the isolationist regime in the DPRK came from? Before 1941, North and South Korea were colonies of Japan. After World War II, the northern part of the peninsula fell under the control of the USSR. The southern part was under the influence of the United States. The states failed to come to an agreement, and two authorities, and then two countries were formed on the territory of the Korean peninsula. They initially had physiological bases. On the territory of North Korea, the power of the Labor Party was established from the first days of the country's life. It knew no other management, no other way of life than socialism. In addition to the USSR, the country was supported by Communist China. State structure of the DPRK. From the very beginning of its existence, communist socialist countries met resistance from other systems of state structure. For example, there was an Iron Curtain over the USSR. So different ideological systems of socialism and capitalism could not help but conflict. Open borders would mean their interpenetration, mutual influence, and the gradual establishment of the same order in all open territories. That is why all socialist countries guarded their line to some extent, preventing the penetration of Western values. In North Korea today, no overly revealing clothing is worn, and creative labor is considered the main value. Thanks to the wife of the country's current leader, Kim Jong-un, the requirements for women's attire have been relaxed. Women were allowed to wear jeans, suits, heeled shoes, earrings, and ride a bicycle. Before that, a woman wearing jeans could be fined for inappropriate appearance. Opinions of the modern ideology of the DPRK are contradictory. The country's constitution states that it is a socialist state, with power vested in the working people, peasants, workers, and labor intellectuals. According to Russian-Korean scholar Andrei Linkov, today power belongs to a layer of top party officials, and the modern system is actually a quasi-socialist monarchy, a system in which the form of government is republican in name only. In reality, power is held by a single individual who passes on his authority by inheritance. One dynasty ruled first, then his son Kim Jong-il, and then his grandson Kim Jong-un. None of them held the position of their predecessor, but they held social media positions of extensive authority and were surrounded by a cult of personality. The strict isolation can be explained by the desire of the top leaders to keep power in their hands. The modern ideology of the DPRK is a unique fusion of Marxism and Confucianism. Juche was developed by Kim Il-sung after World War II and enshrined constitutionally. It is a rather complex synthetic system of views for Western thinking. Its main points are: first, the driving force behind the development of society is the people, but this does not mean literal equality. On the contrary, there is a hierarchy in which Vashdism the norm. Second, the main goal of the economy, not personal profit, but the satisfaction of the population and the country as a whole. Third, great attention is paid to the development of national pride and dignity. A country in which every member of society respects himself and feels respected. Fourth, selfless devotion to the leader, cementing the strength of the society. 5. Fifth, revolution, an extremely broad concept and applies even to labor. 6. One of the most important values is the defense of one's autonomy. 7. The army is not against the people are the army. From the Juche perspective, a closed country is not fear, but self-sufficiency and the desire to preserve one's identity. Now we will tell you about the most terrifying factors in the DPRK. What will happen to your family if you commit a crime in North Korea? 1. There is a 3-generation punishment. This means that when a person is sent to prison, their entire family goes with them, and the next 2 generations of the family are born in prisons and live out their lives there. This fact is absolutely horrifying, right? You can read about what it means to be second generation in the book Escape from Camp 14. If you wonder what a North Korean has to do to get into one of these prison labor camps, the answer is simple: political crime. And a political crime is defined as criticizing the government or trying to flee the country. 2. 6-day work weeks, and 1 more day for forced volunteer work ensure that the average citizen has virtually no free time. This fact appears periodically on the internet, but its primary source is unknown. However, one can easily learn a little about how jobs are organized in North Korea. It seems that everyone after high school is automatically given a job by the government and assigned to that job for life. There are other jobs in government-run companies where you can earn foreign currency, but it is impossible to get in without a bribe. Third, did you know earlier that in North Korea the production, possession, and use of marijuana is perfectly legal and recommended by the Ministry of Health as a healthier alternative to tobacco? Surprisingly, this is true 100% of the time, and in fact even more so. Marijuana is not the only drug that is legal in North Korea. The government encourages people to grow opium on land they are not using. As for marijuana bushes growing freely on the side of the road, it turns out that marijuana is often planted along railroad tracks to support the rails with its deep roots.